Under the moon, there's a roaring fire, right? And around this fire, there's all these little musical note guys called the Nautatons. And they're all dancing around this fire, singing songs all day, all night. That's all they ever do is play music. That means everything to them, right? So occasionally, a Nautaton will slip off into the forest. Once in a while, the natural predator of the Nautatons, the silence, will show his nasty face. He'll sneak up behind one. Pop. There's loganberry juice everywhere, and the Nautaton's dead.
Good.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's really good.
Returning from an 18-month backpacking trip, Vincent Brunswick finds his world in a total disarray. Nothing is as he left it, and to make it all worse, the bad memories he was trying to run from are still as strong as ever. Running again, he enlists in the Navy to fight for a declining and corrupt democracy. What he finds on his battalion's expedition is nothing short of an abomination against God, the corpse of a bandit, and his stolen prize, a formless, newborn clay man designed by fascists as a blank war machine. Taking pity on the naive yet ruthless creature, Vinny deserts his service and becomes a fugitive, hoping that by saving the innocent clayman he can save something in himself. On the run in a fantastic world, he encounters various allies and enemies, like the direwolf, the mountain man Titus, and the musical Nautatons.
Cool. Do you think your book has any like autobiographical undertones?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. A lot of the book is like even things that I've like had dreams about, and I've like kind of taken those deeper elements of my psyche and like kind of blown them up, really explore like, my shadow side or like different elements of who I am, different facets of who I am. There's a lot of messages I want to be taken from it, and I think that's like one of the things I'm wrestling with is like I have so many opinions and philosophies that I want to convey through these characters that it's very challenging to do so. Just to like zoom in a little bit on Vincent himself, like he is the main character, and explore the concept of him as underdeveloped as when he's introduced. He is going through these stages, and I want to put that like, idea out into the world that like a person needs development, and like you do need to like work on yourself to like become a complete human being. This is a journey that everyone's been on. There are repercussions to like not going on it. I would say my biggest inspirations, maybe for this book specifically, I'm definitely very inspired by Lord of the Rings. It was like when Tolkien was writing that, he like studied a lot of Norse mythology to get ideas, but then he took it and made it his own. So that's something I really want to do with my inspirations is like take everything I like, kind of like put it in a blender and then crank it out and like make something like really original out of it. A lot of like what this book is I'm trying to take some of the things that I liked when I was a kid, and I feel very disappointed because it's things that like I really enjoyed as a kid, but I don't really feel like I'm able to enjoy anymore just based on like the fact that they're kind of juvenile, and I kind of wish some of these things would grow up with me. So like that's kind of like the idea behind some of this stuff is like I'm trying to take some of the stuff that I liked and kind of have it grow up with me and like be a part of a more mature story. I'd say I've probably had this idea for like around 3 years at this point, but I've like really wanted to have. I've had the idea of like having my own universe and my own set of characters. Like I want to say since at least 15 years ago. This idea for this specific book started developing in college. And I'd say like my big struggle, it's kind of like taking this stuff seriously sometimes. I'm really struggling like wrestling with a level of like absurdism and like all these colorful goofy characters that are very childish and balancing that with like these epic philosophical themes that I also really enjoy. And that's like very indicative of my personality. Like there's like a very juvenile like goofy half and then there's like a very like philosophical cynical half. And so it's kind of like finding that medium between the two of them. Sometimes I look at my ideas and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is some bullshit. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go fucking get a master's degree in business and go be a millionaire and like forget all this stupid creative shit because this is worth nothing. Now we're like, I'm on Thanksgiving break. I'm able to like, take a deep breath, just I'm like, all right, I do love this stuff. Like, this is the stuff that like makes life worth living, and I got to remember that.
Do you have like a lot of motivation to become a writer and to become a creative? What does that mean to you, and like how much weight does that hold on you in your life?
Unfortunately, a lot, because there's just been a lot of times in my life. There was a long time where I was just very lost, and like I felt a real lack of meaning in my life, and it kind of like made me to a certain extent like almost feel like life wasn't worth living, because I just didn't know like what I was here for, and I was like, I don't know, I just didn't even want to live. And then like I kind of like started to reconnect to some of these things that I did as a kid. I just have a feeling like it's just a weight on my chest. Like it's like, I mean, at risk of sounding dramatic, like it's like kind of like a feeling of like being like my chest is being pushed on from the inside, and like I like at night, like I just will like thrash at night and just feel so restless. Like if I don't feel like I'm like delivering to the world what I've been put here to do, I'm just like absolutely tortured. So like it's kind of like at a certain extent, it's not really a choice. I either do the shit or I'm like pretty harshly punished for it. So it's like I don't really have the option, you know? And so like I really just want to like take these next 10 years and like go and live my life, see the world, explore, like get as much inspiration as possible. And like I think all that's going to like present itself on the page really well.